Have you ever paused and questioned the one thing everyone takes for granted, that you were born and one day you will die? What if I told you that neither of those things has ever truly happened? Not to you, not in the way you think. Right now, there's a part of you that feels the pull of something deeper, like a truth that's been quietly whispering behind the noise of the world, that the person you believe yourself to be, your name, your memories, your story, is only a costume, a passing flicker on the screen of a reality far beyond the mind. And that deeper truth? It's not a theory, it's not philosophy, it's something far older, far more intimate. You were never born, and you will never die. But this truth has been hidden, not by accident, but by design, kept beneath layers of language, thought, culture, and identity. We're going to strip those layers away now, and what's waiting beneath them will change you. Imagine this, a wave rising from the ocean, beautiful, powerful, temporary. We give it a name, we trace its shape, we call it separate. But is it really? Or is it still just the ocean, momentarily expressing itself in motion? You are that wave, but only in the dream. What you truly are is the ocean. Boundless, unborn, untouched by the stories you've been told or the ones you tell yourself. There was never a beginning to you. There is no end to you. You are not the person you think you are. You are the awareness that is watching the person you think you are. You are the space behind the thought, the silence behind the sound, the stillness behind the storm. That is what cannot be born, and it cannot die. You see, birth and death only apply to things that begin and end, to forms, to ideas, to identities. But the awareness you are has no edges, no timeline. You've never actually experienced a beginning. Think back, as far as memory goes. Can you find the starting point of your own existence? There isn't one. There was no moment when you weren't. You may remember being a child, younger, smaller, with less knowledge. But even then, wasn't there something present? Some silent witness to it all? That same presence is here now, unchanging, timeless, and it will be here when the body fades. The you that dies is not the real you. But this illusion, the illusion of self, of separateness, is powerful. It forms the entire scaffolding of your life. From the moment you were given a name, you were taught to believe in a story. I am this, I am that, I am here, and I will one day be gone. But who taught you that? And why did you believe it? The truth is, you never needed a story to exist. You never needed a name to be real. You are real without definition. And that's what makes this realization so terrifying and so liberating. Most people never question the illusion. They live and die as the wave, not knowing they were the ocean all along. But not you. You're here. You're listening, and something in you already knows. You're not hearing this for the first time. You're remembering. You're remembering something sacred, something eternal, something that's always been true, even when you forgot. And as we go deeper, that memory will return in full. The illusion will crack, and your infinite self will shine through. Let's keep going. Close your eyes, just for a moment, and ask yourself, who am I, really? You might hear a voice answer right away. I'm a daughter, a son, a teacher, a believer, a skeptic. But don't settle for the first layer. Dig deeper. Ask again. Who is it that is aware of these answers? Is it your body, your face, your name? Or is it something more subtle, something silent, something that's been watching since before you had language to describe yourself? From the earliest memories of childhood, all the way through every triumph, heartbreak, transformation, and fear, that watcher has been there, unchanging, silent, alive. That is what you are. Not the roles you play, not the mind that narrates your life. You are the space in which all of that appears. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one hearing it. Let's look at it this way. When a thought arises, maybe, "I'm not good enough," or "What if I fail?" Notice how quickly you attach to it, as if it's you, as if it defines you. But pause. If you can observe the thought, then it cannot be you. You are not your fear. You are not your judgment. You are the awareness that watches those thoughts rise and fall. And once you stop identifying with them, something extraordinary happens. The thought loses its power. The fear dissolves. The illusion begins to fade. You've been taught to believe that you are a person, a me, made of thoughts, memories, and emotions. But none of those are stable. None of them stay. One moment you're joyful, the next you're grieving. One year you believe in something passionately, the next you don't. Your mind is constantly shifting. Your body is constantly changing. So how can you say, "This is me"? How can you trust something so temporary to define something so eternal? Let's go even further. Imagine looking in a mirror. The reflection changes as you age, but the one who sees doesn't age. The body may grow old, the stories may evolve, but the witness, the seer, remains, always. Right now, that presence is reading these words. It's not thinking about them. It's not analyzing them. It's just aware, quietly, fully. That is the real you, the presence behind the performance. Here's another image. Think of a room. Furniture comes in, furniture goes out. People enter, people leave. The decorations change, but the space of the room, does it change? Number. It holds everything, and it is touched by nothing. You are that space. The room is awareness, and the furniture, the thoughts, the emotions, the memories, are just appearances that come and go. What's constant is you. Now breathe. Really feel this. You don't need to do anything to become awareness. You already are. You always have been. The search for enlightenment is like looking for your glasses while wearing them. The search begins when you forget, and it ends the moment you remember. What you're looking for is what's looking. John Wheeler said it best. What you take yourself to be is only a thought, a concept. But who you truly are is what's aware of that concept. Think about that. The you that's afraid or confused or striving to become someone. That's not the real you. That's the character in the movie. The real you is the screen. Always present, always untouched, always free. And now you're beginning to see you were never born. The body was, the name was, the story was, but you, awareness, were never created. And what is never created can never be destroyed. Let's go even deeper. What does it mean to say you were never born? At first it sounds ridiculous. After all, you have baby pictures, a birth certificate, childhood memories. Doesn't that prove you were born? But pause and look more closely. All of that is part of a story, a narrative your mind constructs. But the one hearing the story, the awareness behind the scenes, did it ever begin? Did it come into existence at a certain point? Or has it always simply been silently witnessing every chapter of your so-called life? The belief in being born means believing you have a starting point, a line drawn in the sand where you began. But that belief also creates something else, an end. Because if you believe you were born, then you must also believe that you will die. And that is the seed of all fear. But what if the beginning and the end were never real? What if the birth was just the first frame in a movie, and death, the final credits? But you're not the character in the film. You're the screen. The movie plays. The actors come and go. But the screen remains. Still, unmoving, untouched. Let's use another image. Think of a wave rising in the ocean. The wave seems separate, born when it rises, dying when it falls. But did it ever leave the ocean? Number. It was ocean all along, just a temporary form, a shape, a motion, not a separate thing. That's what you are, not a person, not a thought, not a name, but the vast ocean of awareness in which all of this rises and falls. The ego hates this idea. It will do everything it can to hold on to the belief that you are a me, a solid, separate self who is in control. But look again. When you say, I am angry, who is the I? Can you find it? Is it located somewhere in your chest, in your brain? Or is it just a label, an empty thought claiming ownership of a passing emotion? The more you investigate the ego, the more it disappears. Like smoke in sunlight, you realize that what you called me was never solid. It was a swirl of thoughts, emotions, sensations, constantly changing, constantly shifting. So, who is the one noticing all of that? That's the real question. Let's do a quick experiment. Sit quietly. Let your thoughts come and go. Don't try to stop them. Just watch. Now, who is watching? Can you point to it? Can you describe it? Number. Because it's not a thing. It's not an object. It's not part of the movie. It's the screen, and it has no edges, no beginning, no end. Here's the paradox. What you truly are is so simple, so obvious, that the mind can't see it. It's like asking a flashlight to shine light on itself. It can't, because it is the light. You are the one who sees. And that seeing is not something you do. It's something you are. So, if you've never been born, then you can never die. Death is the end of the body, the end of the role, but not the end of you. You were never the role. You were never the mask. You were the stage, and you are still here, right now, watching silently, eternally, untouched. And this changes everything. If you are not the character, if you are the space in which the character appears, then what is there to fear? What is there to lose? The ego loses its grip, the need to defend, the fear of failure, the craving for validation. It all begins to fall away, not because you fixed it, but because you see, it was never you to begin with. Take another breath. Let this truth settle into your bones. You are not the wave, you are the ocean, and you were never born. When the illusion of a separate self begins to dissolve, something unexpected happens. Life doesn't fall apart. It becomes lighter, quieter, more vivid. You no longer move through the world trying to prove yourself. You no longer carry the heavy burden of me, the one who needs to win, to be right, to succeed, to be admired, to avoid pain. The one who was never real in the first place, and without that weight, life flows. You laugh more freely because there's no image to protect. You cry more deeply because there's no shame in feeling. You speak with clarity because you're no longer trying to control how others see you. And you love, not because it's safe, but because there is no longer anything to defend. This is not detachment. This is aliveness, total aliveness. Life without the veil of ego. Life as it is, raw, real, radiant. But how do you live this way practically in a world that runs on identity, comparison, and constant doing? You begin not by changing your outer world, but by watching. That's all. Watch. See the mind at work. Notice when it says, they're judging me. I'm not good enough. I need to try harder. They don't like me. I failed again. I'm not safe. I should be farther along by now. And then ask, who is the I in that sentence? Can I find it? Or is it just a ghost? A voice from nowhere, claiming to speak for me? Don't fight the voice. Don't push it away. Just notice it, like a cloud drifting across the sky. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. You are the awareness in which these thoughts rise and dissolve. They have no power unless you believe them. And when belief falls away, freedom rushes in. That is how you begin to live without the false self, not by escaping life, but by waking up within it. Here's something else to notice. Life still moves, emotions still come, pain still arises. But the story about it, the one that says, "This shouldn't be happening to me, I can't handle this, I am broken," that story begins to lose its grip. You find yourself standing in the fire of experience, and you don't burn. You remain as the space, as the stillness, as the silent witness of it all. And that stillness is not distant. It is here, now, in this very moment, reading these words, listening to these sounds, feeling your breath. You don't have to go anywhere to find it. You don't have to improve yourself to reach it. You don't have to understand more, or heal more, or become more. The idea that you are incomplete, that is the ego. That is the illusion. The truth is, you were never broken. You were never missing. You were never anything other than pure awareness, pretending to be a person, living a story, wearing a mask. But now, the mask is slipping, and what you see beneath it is freedom. Here's a practical way to feel this truth. Next time you feel triggered, someone criticizes you, something goes wrong, fear rises, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, who is experiencing this? Don't answer with the mind. Just feel into the space. What you'll discover is that the fear is real, but the me who owns it isn't there. The thoughts swirl, the emotions rise, but the center is empty, and that emptiness is full of peace. This is not about being perfect. You will still forget. You will still get pulled into the story sometimes. That's okay. Each time you remember what you are, is another moment of awakening, another breath of freedom, another crack in the illusion, and gradually those moments string together until the illusion can no longer hold, and all that's left is silence, peace, presence. You were never the doer. Life has always moved on its own. You were never the thinker. Thoughts have always appeared spontaneously. You were never the controller. There was never a separate you steering the ship. There was only the story of you playing out in awareness. But the screen never moved. The screen never changed. And you are that screen. So what happens now? You live fully, openly, honestly, without needing to hold on to anything, not even to this realization, because even the idea of being awakened is just another story, another identity. Let it go. Be what you already are, the quiet awareness behind the show, the peace in the midst of motion, the ocean beneath every wave. And when someone asks, "Who are you really?" you smile, because you know there is no answer. There never was. There is only this, right now, and that is more than enough. So now, we arrive not at an ending, but at a return to what has always been here, to the presence that never left, to the awareness that has been quietly watching since the first breath of your life, and will remain after the last. This awareness is not a thing, not a thought, not a belief. It is not something you can grasp, because it is what you are. And what you are was never born and can never die. That may sound abstract, but it is not. It is your most direct, most intimate experience, closer than breath, closer than thought, closer than any identity you've worn. Every fear you've carried, fear of failure, of rejection, of death, was rooted in a misunderstanding, the belief that you are a separate thing that can be lost. But now, you've seen through that. You've looked behind the curtain. You've met the silence that holds everything, joy and pain, gain and loss, birth and death, and is never moved by any of it. That silence is your home. You don't have to leave this world to realize the truth. You can awaken right here, in the middle of your life, in the noise and the mess and the beauty of it all. You don't have to stop being a parent or a partner or a student or a dreamer. You don't have to give up your passions or your goals, but you are now invited to live them differently, to live them as awareness, not clinging, not grasping, not performing, but flowing. The wave still rises, But you no longer think you are the wave. You know now that you are the ocean, vast, quiet, deep. You may still feel anger, sadness, desire, but you are no longer trapped inside them. You let them move. You let them pass. Because now you see, you are the space that holds all experience, not the experience itself. And in this space, a new kind of life begins, a freer one, a kinder one where you are no longer fighting to become something because you realize you are already complete, one where you stop trying to escape the moment because you realize there is nothing outside it. This is freedom, not freedom from pain or from life's ups and downs, but freedom from the illusion of being someone who can be broken by them. So take this moment now to simply rest, not in thought, not in effort, but in what is always here. Feel the breath rising and falling, feel the silence beneath the sound, and sense the awareness, the stillness, the presence that holds it all. That is you, and it always has been. If you're finding value in these revelations, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay connected to the deeper truth. Let me know in the comments if this perspective shifted something in you, and type, "I'm ready" if you feel the veil thinning and your hidden energy awakening. Thank you for walking this path of ancient remembrance with me. Until next time, stay curious and stay aligned. And if you haven't yet, join the Mystery School today.